Welcome to the first episode of Boon Talks Sports. I am Boon. I am the noob of sports, and we're just going to get right into it. I got a bunch of hockey notes because I've been mainly watching hockey this week. It was the opening week of hockey, so I'm super excited about that. So let's just get right into it. By the way, this is not the setup for the podcast. This is just kind of a makeshift one until I figure out a better setup. I got some ideas, but let's get right into this. Welcome to Boon Talks Sports. So, Tampa Bay versus Nashville. Didn't watch the game, but on the way home, this was I think the first night of this was opening night of the NHL. So it was Tampa Bay, Nashville, and insane. So I'm a sports bettor, and thinking about how trends work. You got going into the first and second period, they were not doing so well. There wasn't many goals being scored, and so I was thinking, okay, over under third period, it's gonna be less than 4 goals. That they blew that out of the water, I think, within the first 5 minutes of the third period. It was insane. It was so chaotic. I'm driving home, I'm cheering, I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Honestly, I wish it was a game that I watched. I put $10 on the over-under, and, I lost it, but honestly, it's good quality hockey, so you can't go wrong with that. I think we would much rather want a high-pack action game than just a boring, just a boring game where not much really happens. I want fights, and I want goals, and I want lots of celebration. So I would have loved to watch it, but again, it's really cool. Hockey can be very unpredictable. All sports can be very unpredictable. So that was all my notes on the Tampa Bay versus Nashville game. I think Tampa went and took that game, so good on them. Anyways, we're gonna go straight into the game that I was extremely excited to watch: Pittsburgh Penguins versus Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedards versus Sid the Kid Crosby. Man, I was excited about this one. So, obviously, I want to talk about Bedard, but I think we should get to some other points in the first before we get there, because I could talk about that kid for a while. He is, yeah. Anyways, I think versus past years, Mrazek is doing quite well. He looks like he's very in touch with the game this year, and he is getting some very good looks on shots. And I think he's saving them pretty well. He's very aware of where the puck is at all times. I think that's something different from past years. I think he's gonna do really well this year. I hope so. I don't know if he's the starting goalie or if he's not. But I think he definitely, if he keeps on going with this run, I think he can definitely be starter goalie material. And speaking of that, it's going to go against all of what I just said, but Sid the Kid's goal. Holy crap. In true Sid the Kid fashion, he comes out and he just freaking unbelievable goal. Unbelievable goal. I can't even. He just looks so fired up from the season. I think that him and the Penguins are really taking that last year's boot out of the playoffs by one singular point by Chicago, by the way. Chicago was the one that knocked them out of the playoffs and their playoff spot. If they won against Chicago, they would have been in the playoffs last year. But they ended a 17-year drought, or they ended a 17-year long-standing record of being in the playoffs. I think they really took that early season exit out very personally, and I think Crosby is going to have a stellar year this year. I think he's fired up. He wants to get his team, him and Gino, I think they want to get this team to the playoffs again. I don't think they're going to let the last couple games slip from their hands like they did last year. They could have easily made it, but I think they were really on their heels the last year, the last couple games of last year. But I think that, I think it's going to be exciting what he does and what the Penguins do this year, because I think they're fired up from last year, as they should, by the way, as they should. I'm not the biggest Corey Perry fan. I'm not the biggest Taylor Hall fan. But if you told me at the beginning of, the season, before preseason, basically when Chicago drafted Bedard, that Taylor Hall and Corey Perry were going to be on his line, I probably would have laughed in your face, honestly. I think that is hilarious. I didn't expect that, especially on the power play. I did not expect that at all. But I mean, let's see what they do if they keep the squad together and they produce some points, goals on the power play. I think, you know what? I'll eat my laughs, But I just had to put that in there because I seriously did not expect that one. I didn't expect that one. I didn't expect Chicago to ever, get Corey Perry. I think over the years I've told my mom if Corey Perry ever came to Chicago, I probably wouldn't cheer for Chicago again. But, I think he's one of those players that you want him on your team versus against, because he's a pain in the ass. It's like Ryan Reeves, You want him on your team, not against, So I'm eating my words. I'm eating my past words. So we'll see how he does. I'm not going to guarantee cheering for him, although he did have a nifty goal the other night. But yeah, I'm astounded. Anyways, so I guess we should probably talk about the kid. We should probably talk about Bedard. Oh, so Bedard, I've got some good points on him, I think. I think going into that first game, that first period, I think he was a little bit slow, and you could definitely see the nerves coming through. But I think that he just needed to find his footing, because as the game went on, you could see his confidence building, you could see his shot getting better, you can see that he was really getting those bursts of speed and stuff. And I really think he's going to have a really good year. And it's his first game in the NHL. He's got so much hype around him. The fact that he came out slow, that should be to expect. That it should have been expected. I'm not mad about him coming out slow. I think that was expected, and he's breaking out of it. And I think that after he got that first point, and he just kind of settled in, and I think he's going to be a stellar player. But obviously we already knew that. I think a few games under his belt, and I wrote this during the first game, and 3 games have gone by so far, and he's gotten a point in all games. I think that's ridiculous. That's so cool. He's got an assist, a goal, and I think an assist, and that's just ridiculous. He's doing so well. I am so excited. I think he's going to be an amazing playmaker and an even better goal scorer as his career goes on. I know everyone's waiting for his first goal, and I think he is too. And he is currently, I think, as of 3 games, he's got 20 shots or something, 20 attempts at shooting, and I think that's just crazy. He's leading the league right now. But I didn't expect anything less from him, because he is a shooter, he is a goal scorer. It's what he does. But I think he's got a sneaky second talent. He is very much a playmaker. I've been watching the panels, and they're saying he's going to get 40, 50 goals. I think that he's actually going to get between 30 and 35 goals because he's going to get a shit ton of assists this season. I think he's going to get around the 30, or I think he's going to get around the 40, 50 area with his assists. I think that he is an amazing playmaker, but it gets kind of overshadowed a little bit by his shot because, Auston Matthews pioneered his shot and then he tweaked it a little bit for it to be his own shot. And I think he has a wicked shot, but everyone expects him to shoot. But I think if Chicago can lean into him being more of a playmaker versus a shooter at first, I think that a lot more goals will go in because, people are fading towards him. We've seen it multiple times throughout the games. They're fading more to him because they expect him to shoot. I think if he can draw a couple players in and then he quickly passes it to, let's say if it's on the power play, to Taylor Hall or Corey Perry or something, or one of the defense, they take a quick shot. You got everyone a little shifted out of the focus because they're focused on Bedard. I think we'll get a lot more goals that way, and he's going to get a stupid amount of assists, I think. That's just how I think it's going to go. I think he's going to get more assists than goals. He's already at 2 and 1 goal, so who knows? I also think with the goals, it's going to be a different experience because, they're not the same as the WHL goalies or the IIHF goalies, the World Junior goalies. But I think he's going to be just all right. He is going to have an amazing season. He's going to have an amazing career. I am excited to see where he goes, and who knows what'll happen. I'm excited, but I'm guessing around 30 to 35 goals and 40 to 50 assists. Like he's gonna rack up those points like they're nothing. So I've seen Chicago come out a little bit differently this year than the past couple of years. I think they have so much excitement behind them, and I think that comes with Connor Bedard coming in and just taking the season by the throat and just going right at it. And, I'm really excited. I think they're going to have a really good season. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but I think that with the excitement and the competitiveness that Connor Bedard brings, along with the other rookies as well, I think that it's very fresh, and I think it's going to bring a new energy, and it seems to be working so far. I'm super excited. I think that I think if they keep going with the excitement they have, they don't lose it. I think if they keep just pounding away with that no give up sense, I think that they could definitely be a wild card contender this year. And I think they might be either wild card or 1 or 2 below that. I think they might just miss out on the playoffs this year if they keep going the way they are. And I think that that's definitely Connor Bedard's goal, is to never miss the playoffs. So I'm extremely excited to to see that. And I might just call Peter Mrazek Peter Mawalczyk, because holy Jesus, he was on fire during that game. I know I talked about it earlier, but man, that guy was killing it. I hope he continues on this positive track of just being a wall, honestly. And I think it's so cool, the duo between Carlson and Letang. I've always wanted to see both of them on the team because of their long hair, and they both freaking cut their long hair. So they're on the same team. Let's hope they grow those puppies out, because dang, I was so upset. But it's really cool to see them on the same team. I've always thought that would be a good idea. I thought I think that they are one of the better defensemen of the NHL. I really like how they play. And yeah, I think it's really cool. One last thing on Bedard before I think we get into the next segment of Vegas and Seattle is that I one thing I really like about him is he doesn't show off. He doesn't try to show off. He has this very humble attitude about him where he knows that for this season to work and this season to mesh as well as it should, it needs to be a team thing, you know? I really respect the fuck out of that. And we saw it before in his interviews, especially the one time it was the World Juniors. They had just won the championship, and the lady goes to ask him about like all of what he had done, and he said, "You know what? This isn't about me. This is a team thing. I'm just one piece of the puzzle." And he basically just said, "I don't want to talk about myself. I want to go celebrate with my team." And I think him being as young as he is and was at the time of that interview, because I think he was 17 then, 18 now, not big of a difference, but I think that shows a hell of a lot of maturity, and it was so cool and refreshing to see a player say that, because Mitch Marner just said it. This is something I would usually talk about next episode, but Mitch Marner said this during last night's game, or after the postseason, or the post-game interviews. He said that the media puts a lot of pressure on the new kids, the new stars, especially Connor Bedard. He has gotten so much pressure on him, and I think for someone who has as much pressure as he does have on him and on his shoulders, and he knows he's basically the face of the franchise in Chicago. He knows that. He knew that before going into it. He knew that when it was all set up basically for him to be drafted by Chicago. Everyone knew he was going to save the team, and I think for him to have the attitude that he did when he won the gold medal in the World Juniors, saying, this is a team sport, this isn't about me, this is about everybody, I think bringing that into Chicago, it's going to bring a whole different energy, excitement. I could speak about it forever. I just think it's so fucking cool that he did that, he said that, man, I have nothing but good things to say about this kid right now. And yeah, I just think it shows his character so much. And I can't wait to see what this fucking kid does. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. He's definitely winning Rookie of the Year or whatever it is. I feel like he's going to be a standout motherfucker. All right, so Vegas. Let's talk about them raising the banner and the slot machine. That thing was crazy. I wasn't expecting that at all. That was crazy. I think they did a fantastic job in Vegas incorporating the slot machine to do all the and then showing the Stanley Cups and then the banner raising. I just think that's ridiculously cool, and it was really cool to watch that. I don't think that I've seen that in other years. Maybe I'm wrong. I usually don't tune in to the winners of the last playoff. I don't know if Colorado did that last year, but I think it's so cool to see that. And with all of the visuals of the coins in the rink, that was so cool. And I think that it's gonna be exciting to watch them play. I'm a huge Marchessault fan. With his underdog story coming up, he wasn't even supposed to be in the NHL, and then he just has a standout year last year. I think I'm super excited to watch him play and Stoner play and just all the guys. I'm excited to see the Misfits play again. But I absolutely love how unpredictable the game can be. Leading up to Vegas's first goal, Seattle had all of the momentum. They had multiple shots on goal. They were in the zone. They had an amazing opportunity to score. And then Vegas comes through with the boom, boom, boom pass play and scores. First shot on goal, and they score. I think that's ridiculous. That's crazy. It was unbelievable. I think to steal that momentum away from Seattle, having 0 shots on goal, and then scoring to be like 0% on the goalie, I think that's fucking crazy. With the bing bang boom pass, like, I have nothing to say. Nothing to say about that. That was insane. And then, Tanev's assist on Marchessault's goal. Yeah, you heard that right. Tanev's assist on Marchessault's goal. 2 different players on 2 different teams come together to score a goal. Yeah. I think it's great for Vegas, If you can get the other team helping you score goals, let's do it, right? Like, I think that it was a horrible decision on Tanev's part. He should not have curled in front of the net. Over my years of playing hockey, multiple times, our coach says, do not go in front of the net with the puck. Do not pass the puck in front of the net. Do not go in the front of the net vicinity. And this is exactly why. Because you have a Vegas player like coming in, pressuring you for you to turn back, and then Marchessault is right there, picks the puck off, and bang. Basically passes it right to Marchessault for the goal. Like, it was horrible, and he had a couple different options. Maybe he didn't see it, but he could have passed it up, even if it's just like to no one and it turns into a turnover. At least it's not in front of your net as a turnover and results in a goal, I just think that was really bad. I think he should have kept going the way he was. He shouldn't have turned back around. I think he had multiple options to dump it and without icing it, or just putting it back into the corners where the one Seattle player was wrapping around the net. I think it could have been prevented very highly, and it was kind of frustrating to watch, honestly. But also good because it was Marchessault. Marchessault got his first goal of the season, so that was exciting. We are moving on to baseball next. The playoffs are in. They're starting. They are fully deep in. And I saw a stat. I saw Toronto Blue Jays get swept. I saw the Baltimore Orioles get swept. There was another team that got swept. It was the Tampa Bay Rays. They got swept. Now, coming in, Tampa Bay had an unbelievable start to the season. You couldn't stop them if you tried. You could probably have the whole fucking baseball team, and they would have scored still. They would have found a way. Unbelievable. They had a stellar beginning to the season. Baltimore Orioles, they came in swooping in the last part of the season. They came in like it was nobody's business. Everyone counted them out. No one expected them to do what they did, and they fucking did it. That is really cool. And then the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, what I've learned over the past couple of years with Toronto is they can come in really hot and heavy. They can have a really hot and heavy middle or end. It doesn't fucking matter because they always drop the ball in playoffs. Always. I don't know. It's like they have a curse or something. It's really frustrating, but I think that's like the really cool part of sports, but also very frustrating, is you can have unbelievable regular seasons. Just like the Bruins, they had a fucking fantastic season in the NHL, but they got out first round, I think it is so cool to see the difference between an 82 game or whatever, how many games in baseball or how many games in basketball or whatever. You could have a solid number of regular season games, gets you first seed, second seed, whatever. You go into the playoffs, all that fucking doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I think that's so cool because playoffs are a different animal. It is so cool to see what the underdogs can do. I didn't think Toronto was going to get as far as they did. I didn't fucking think Florida was going to get as far as they did. They got into the finals. That is insane. That is insane to me. You know, I think it's crazy to think about the fact the Orioles got swept. The Rays got swept. Like, we're talking sweeps. Like, they didn't win a game. That's crazy. I think I think it's crazy. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. Postseason, different story. Different story. You can be the favorites. You can go out in the first round. You can go out before the first round even starts. Insane. But a huge congratulations to the Texas Rangers for sweeping the Orioles. I think they are up a couple games in Houston. They're playing the Astros. I think they're up a couple games in Houston. I think that's ridiculously cool. I think they actually played tonight. So I'm excited to watch that. And, you know, I can't believe the Orioles and the Rays got swept. But it's the cool part of hockey. It's not hockey, that's baseball. Completely different sport. What am I talking about? Anyways, I got some did you fucking see that plays. So, we got Auston Matthews coming in, first 2 games, hat tricks. What are you doing, Austin? Insane. I know Justin Bieber's proud of you for that. They got their little bromance going, but I know he was proud of you for that, Austin. I think all the Leafs fans were proud of you. I think you should be proud of yourself. That was ridiculous. And you know, it's fun. So he becomes one of the only players. So he becomes one of only 5 players in the NHL history to record a hat trick in the first 2 opening games. There was 3 from 1917 to 1918, and then 100 years later, Alex Ovechkin comes skating into the NHL, and he scores 2 hat tricks, first 2 opening games. Ridiculous. In 2017, exactly 100 years later, and then a couple years later, Auston Matthews decides to show up and show out and get his name on that list, and I think that is so cool. He is on pace for like 246 goals this season. I think it would be ridiculous if he got that. That would be so fucking cool. Anyways, we're moving on to Connor Bedard getting booed in Montreal. I think they played a pretty great game against Montreal, but the moment that I remember most is Connor Bedard getting booed. Now, a lot of people will consider that kind of disrespectful, like, why are you booing the new kid? But if you know Montreal's history, they only boo the legends. They only boo Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky. They only boo, you know, the really legendary guys. So for Connor Bedard to get booed at the Bell Center, I think that is a huge, huge, huge compliment, and I know he enjoyed it. I watched some of his post-game interviews. He really enjoyed it. He should. It's such a high compliment, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see if he gets booed in more arenas for being as fucking good as he is. Now, did you see this? Philip Lindbergh. My dyslexia came through. Philip Lindbergh scored a short side Michigan. Now, if you don't know what a Michigan is where you skate. It's kind of like a background where you skate. It's kind of like it's kind of like a wraparound, except it's not on the ground. It's in the air. You got the puck on your stick, and it's in the air, and you wrap it around, and you score top cheddar. But this kid comes out, he scores a short side Michigan. We haven't seen one of those. That's so cool. Here's the video right here, so you can see it yourself. He comes around, you know, I think everyone thought he was going to do the regular Michigan, but that bro tucked it in, short side, top cheddar. He did amazing. So congratulations to Philip Lindbergh for doing the first short side Michigan that I've heard of. I think everyone on Twitter was pretty fascinated by it. I think it's the first one. But we're going to move on from the hockey portion. We're going to go to basketball. Trae Young with the unbelievable pass to Johnson for a unbelievable 2-point bucket. I'm watching this replay, and they're like, can't believe this happened. And I'm like, what's happening? You know, like I see Trae Young with the ball, bouncing it, and then he does a spinorama, and all of a sudden Johnson has the ball, and he dunks it in. And I'm like, what just happened? Now I had to get a slow-mo video that like showed the whole thing, because I didn't see Trae Young with that pass. Unbelievable, no-look pass. I can't believe I missed that. I missed it with my own eyes. It was unbelievable. It was so cool. I'm a big Trae Young fan, big Atlanta Hawks fan. I'm excited to see what he does, and I hope he comes back with some unbelievable passes like that. And, he gets some 3 points. He gets some unbelievable plays himself. But that one, I had to just say it because it was unbelievable. I am slacking in the basketball department. I need to watch more of it so I can talk to you guys about it, because I have no idea how basketball really works. I just know that pass was unbelievable. Now, going into F1 racing, there's a rumor going around that Sergio Perez from Red Bull might lose his seat if he loses P2 in the driver's construction race. Now, I think that's bullshit. I think that he is doing a fantastic job. I think that Red Bull puts so much energy and so much attention on Verstappen that the second seat of Red Bull, it really doesn't matter who it is, because they're not going to like them, because they're not going to be to the standard of where they think they should be at versus Max Verstappen. They say that they don't, favor him, but they definitely do favor Verstappen over every P2 seat that they have. And I think that if he loses a seat, I obviously am a huge Daniel Ricciardo fan. That's supposed to be who is potentially replacing him. But, that's frustrating, because I really am a huge Sergio Perez fan. And I think he could do some amazing things if they focused a little more attention on him. But yeah, I hope he doesn't lose his seat in 2024. And I think that's it. That is all the notes I have. If I have more, they will come out next week on episode 2 of Boon Talks Sports. I am the noob, and I'm talking sports. I'll see you next week. See ya.